What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the November market update, where we look backwards to see what happened in the market last month. So we'd be looking at
The month of October,
Month of October.
2023. A little spooky, a little Halloween action. If you didn't catch our Pouring Over Properties podcast, please take a time, tune in.
Check it out.
It'd be great to check out. We go over different various topics each and every month about what's going on, not just in real estate, but just Las Vegas in general.
We had actually a lot of fun with this one. We ended up going to a haunted house, a local haunted house here in Henderson.
Yep.
Where the guy actually only opens, 2 or 3 days a year, but puts way
Friday,
more work
I
into
was like,
that.
I was like, 4 days. Yeah, I can't believe he only does it for the 4 days for all the effort that he puts forth.
Just for a donation.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, it's cool.
Love
Check it out.
Love check it out.
All right, so what happened in October with total units sold?
So, total units sold, and this is a little bit of a striking number for anybody that's in real estate, because it's not one that we hear very often. And that's single-family residences sold under 1,700 of them last month. 1,700, to be exact. So that is a little bit slower than what we normally see. A little bit of a slowdown from just last month in September, and it was about almost 7% less homes sold. In October than in September. But comparing it to last October when, things kind of froze, everybody was losing their mind a little bit by pulling out their hair is what I mean by that. It's only down about 1.5%. So it's really not that big a difference compared to last winter months. And this is what we're going into, the winter months when things are tending to
And like
slow
we've been
down.
talking about for a while, last Q3 and Q4 were
Yeah, a couple of these other stats are actually going to prove exactly what we've been talking about. So, median price, where are we at with that, Bo?
So median price, we're right at the 450 mark, 449 on the dot. We're actually down month over month. I know you said it's a fun
be that
fact.
much.
It's 0.2%, which equals about
$900. So if you want to call that down in home value month over month, I mean, sure.
yeah. I mean, it's a California weekend.
Yeah. It's a dinner on F1 weekend is what it is.
Yeah, if you're lucky. But we're up year over year 2%. So even though the market's slowed down, interest rates have gone up, year over year we're still up by about 2%.
Yeah, 2% appreciation year over year is great, especially in a slower market, a down market, as what everybody's calling it. And that's mainly due to the inventory factor. I mean, we've heard it kind of, month over month through us and any podcast you may listen to out there is that, America as a whole inventory is down, and Las Vegas is no different from that. But to counteract that, I do want to have a little bit of an update of how many new listings hit the market, and that's about 5% less this month than last month. So the number of new listings actually coming in the market is slowing down month over month. And if you compare it to last year, it's down about 20%.
But we talked about this before. That's the number to talk about because we had that major shift. This is where interest rates started increasing dramatically about this time last year.
Yep.
People were panic selling. So you saw just a lot of panic sellers. We didn't see a lot of sales, just a lot of panic sellers.
Oh, yeah. Anybody with leverage on a home, by leverage, I mean if they got a hard money loan or they were flipping homes because appreciation was going so high, they were unloading properties last winter, the last 4 or 5 months of the year. They were just like, let's get rid of this, let's get it off the books because we don't know what the future has in hold. So, but that 20% less of new listings actually pales in comparison to how many units are available compared to last year. And Bo, hit them with that number.
It's true. We only have about 4,200 units available, 4,213 to be exact. But that's actually up month over month, which makes sense because if we look at our units sold, which is about 1,700, new listings of 2,300, that's about a 600 home difference. So that's why we have that increase of about 3.
I bet you if we did some reverse math real quick, it would probably add up to be exactly that. But compared to last year, the units available, what do we see there?
That's a dramatic number. Again, even more dramatic than before. That's 46 points. So, but once again, that's just not a real number. We're down historically for our numbers, but going month over month, we're not panic selling now. That people are holding on to their homes a lot longer for a lot of different reasons. One of which is interest rates.
Yeah.
Back, in 2022, which seems like forever ago, interest rates were all in the 3s, 2 point whatever.
Over half of all Americans with a mortgage on a home right now is living under the 4% threshold. So half of all homes with a mortgage on it, they say, are under that 4% threshold.
So we're over that panic selling. Now we're in the strategic hold, we might call, until people figure out kind of where we're going to settle. I mean, this week rates are down. I typically think that we're going to be in the 5.5s eventually is our new rate.
Second time in a row they haven't raised rates. The Feds is which is obviously a good sign in housing because they see the slowdown. It's not necessarily they're looking at values and their values are going away. No, it's the amount of transactions have really dissipated, and also unemployment is a big factor to what the Feds have to do, and they're seeing those numbers actually be closer to where they want them. Now, it's not the 8% that they once said. I feel like that expectation has now been tempered a little bit, but we're around 4% right now, which is better than what it was. I think it was 3.2% to start the year off. So that's definitely made a difference, and in the Fed's mind, could help us in housing overall.
I agree. Now, I've noticed it, especially for those of you that don't know, I broke my ankle, and as soon as I broke my ankle, it happened to be a low good luck charm for me. I felt that we've increased velocity a little bit with the housing market. So we always do the fact of how many homes sell within that first 30-day period. So where are we looking at there? So
about 68% of homes will sell within a 30-day mark, which is a really good number. Now, it's not the 98% that it once was, or not the 92% that what we were really normally see. Back in a normal market, and I say normal back in like 2018, 2019.
Pre-COVID.
Pre-pandemic, let's just call it what it is. We would see that in like the 85 mark, 85, 88% mark. So seeing it down to a 68 is obviously a difference from where it was. But still, we're seeing it actually, it actually went up a little bit. Or no, I'm sorry. It's actually, they're selling faster compared to last year.
They are selling faster compared to last year because we were in such a just sludge of a market back then. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I read the percentages backwards on the board here. So
it happens.
That one up.
We're learning.
Yeah.
Our last factor we want to talk about is our year-to-date, where we're going. We're going to continue to talk about this year-to-date issue. Where are we at closing-wise?
So the number of closing single-family residences that have closed this year is 26,459. You're like, real cool number, Scott. Way to go. Thanks for that one. But the comparison is, what's that difference compared to 2022? I'm talking from January of this year all the way through October. What's the difference compared to the 2022 market? And it's about it is 32.2% less homes have closed compared to last year, which is damn near a third less homes closing. So when you hear loan officers, realtors saying it's tough out there,
escrow officers,
it's a little bit, because it's a third less than what we'd normally see in terms of closings. And last year wasn't a slam dunk of a year. The last half actually just disappeared on us. Right? So to see that number be that much worse than what it was last year is obviously why we're feeling that pinch. That pinch. Yeah.
Now, I want just one idea of this, and we've talked about this before, and I don't know if we've actually talked about it on film, is typically speaking, in America, about 6 million homes a year transact.
Okay.
With the pandemic, we actually saw that huge shift up to almost 7 million homes a year in that transaction period, right?
Yeah.
And so in theory, if we're transacting a certain amount every year, and then we have a huge shift forward because people were working from home, they realized that they needed different spaces, that it wasn't working for them long term. People are moving out of high tax states to states that they could now work remote. The slowdown makes sense in that we had to kind of regulate that to bring it back down to a median that we've seen forever. That's 6 million. And then the interest rates going up and the uncertainty. So that's now we're past that equalization. Now we're kind of sludging. So if you're in the market and you're prepared, be prepared to move because we're going to have to slingshot back because averages average out, right? At the end of the day. So we might see another huge flow once we get to that 5.5%. And if you're in the market and you need to buy a house, you got to be prepared. And the agents out there, our loan officers, our equity officers, they'll be okay because we will get that slingshot. But as consumers, you just have to really, I hate when people say time the market, but more or less be prepared that when things do hit, it's going to be another frenzy.
Last to react would be the best way to look at that, because yes, if we sniff 5% next year, which a lot of people are predicting that that's going to be the case, you better watch out. Basically every realtor and loan officer is going to be back to slammed. Let's just guarantee that because there's never been more equity in homes ever in America. 0 times in history have we had more money sitting in the homes that we own. All right, so just that in itself is going to scream a little bit of hopefully listings coming to market. But if those listings are buyers, does that increase inventory necessarily? I would just go ahead and say no.
And remember, there's certain life events that you can only pull off for so long.
Yeah.
Divorce, death, job loss, job promotion. Upsizing because you have a bigger family, downsizing because kids move out of the house. These events you can prolong for Occur.
And a consumer fact that I just feel like I don't hear this message out there enough, and that's don't get rid of your mortgage. You know, like I know everybody's like, oh, you're never going to sell your 3%, never going to sell your 2.5%, 3.5% mortgage. No, you don't sell off that mortgage, rent out that home that you currently own.
Become a landlord.
If you have a $1,400, $1,500 mortgage payment in this really nice home in a decent area of town, you could probably rent it out for $3,000 a month, $2,700 a month. That's going to net you cash flow $1,000 to $1,500 a month, which can easily supplement that increase in mortgage payment. And once that home's paid off completely, guess what happens? That cash flow doubles because there's no mortgage, and you have tax incentives. Account. So many different options, you know, when it comes to that. So yeah, don't necessarily get rid of that mortgage. Become a landlord and have that American dream become more of a reality.
Absolutely.
And that's just a tip for me. So.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed our November market update. December, don't worry, my creep and mustache will be gone.
Yes.
And we'll bring you the facts of November.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.